Hello, hello, audio testing, audio testing, audio testing. How's the mic sound today? Hello, hello, audio testing, audio testing. Dang, that's way delayed. Well, it sounds relatively fine for what is very interesting day of baseball. Right? No games are being played, but free agency is always a fun time period. I understand that the webcam's not on yet. I'm just doing a little breakdown real quick as people get in here. Blake Snell being a Dodger. Blake Snell being a Dodger. We're going to look at how it affects the Dodgers moving forward. Matter of fact, I think I'm just going to get right on into it. Tweet saying. Okay, we are officially going live. Hello, welcome into Carr Sports. My name is Andrew Carr. It's 1:30 on the money. How many times have we done a live stream where we actually start exactly when it says it's listed to? Probably not very often. So, as you can see, I got unfortunate that one of the infielders had to be moved, and India was the one with the most experience. I like that we got Brady Singer back, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Blake Snell. I didn't really see this kind of contract coming for Blake. Like, if you watched my other video that I put out, probably almost, it's going to be coming on 3 weeks now this weekend. It was kind of like, well, where's all these guys going to settle down? Where they're going to end up? And I had him going to LA, but just not with the Dodgers. I had him ending up as an Angel. And the thought process kind of was, I thought like the Angels were going to do some weird stuff, and they've done some weird stuff. But, so I mean, my thought processing wasn't necessarily wrong. Just the lefty that they got was not the one that I expected. Like you saw in the thumbnail, Yusei Kikuchi, that man is an Angel. So when we're talking about Blake Snell, it was 5 years, $330-some million, if I remember correctly. Let me check the notes. Actually, I can just find it right here. 5 years, $182, $34 million annually with deferrals. So that's going to be interesting how that works. So without further ado, I want to start with talking about what the Angels have done so far. So we're going to drop down Fangraphs now. Thank you. So Fangraphs, that's a bit blurry. I don't really like that. If I can just hold up. What if is that any more readable? Not really. I'm willing to move myself over a bit. There we go. You don't need to see that much of me, right? No one really cares. So when we're looking at this Angels lineup, trading for Jorge Soler was interesting. Trout's always getting hurt, and maybe throw him at DH, but he's still a good defensive center fielder. So, I mean, bringing in Jorge Soler, I don't hate. I mean, the Angels are always going to be weird. They've made the most moves already. You can see Yusei Kikuchi's their new ace in that rotation. Then you also can see Kyle Hendricks from the Cubs. They gave him a contract, which I thought he was going to be done after what this year was. But when we're looking at their ads so far, the Jorge Soler trade, they traded away Griffin Canning. It was like, okay, well, you don't really have a lot of pitching depth, and they would go on and sign Kyle Hendricks. So that then became kind of hilarious. But and now Griffin Canning's back on the free agent market because the Braves non-tendered him. Then they went out and got another Brave and Travis d'Arnaud in free agency. It's like, well, why would you go out and get d'Arnaud if you already have your catcher of the future in Ohapi? They just wanted a solid backup? I didn't understand that move. Then the Kevin Newman signing. I liked Kevin Newman when he was a Red. I feel like there were weeks when Kevin Newman kept the team afloat, not last year, but the year before that, where he would just be the hottest hitter slotted into the lineup. And then the Scott Kingery, it's kind of sad how things didn't really pan out for him in Philly. Is this not just Mickey Moniak 2.0 now? Like, Castaway Phillies top prospect turned like bench player. Mickey Moniak's right next to him on the depth chart. So for the Angels, I feel like they're not done. I feel like the Angels are going to do something interesting. Like they might go out and get a big bullpen guy, which I understand that the bullpen isn't on that screen necessarily. Let me see if I can scroll down enough. So this is the bullpen, right? Ben Joyce, you know what you're getting there. And I'm seeing a lot of high ERAs in the bullpen. Ryan was really good. Jose was really good. And then I'm looking at a bunch of question marks. And the guys that were good were in 25 innings. So they don't really have anyone coming back who was really spectacular that was any good except for Ben Joyce. Well, I don't understand. Why was he 115th overall best when he's been so good? Probably because he didn't get saves. That's probably what Fangraphs is factoring in. All right. Let me readjust this so we can move on to the next team. Another team that I feel like isn't quite done yet. It's going to be these Kansas City Royals. Putting Jonathan India into that leadoff spot is going to work wonders. We saw last year they didn't really have a leadoff guy. At times it would be Michael Massey. At other times it would be Markel Garcia. And Garcia never really got off on the right foot. He kind of started off slow. He's got really good speed, so that's kind of why they had him up there. It's just so it would be speed on speed with Garcia leading off and then Bobby Witt right behind him. Jonathan India, for all the things that he has flawed in his game, is always going to work in at bat. What won him his Rookie of the Year, which I got his little Rookie of the Year plaque right there. What won him it? It was his ability to get on base and set the table for that Nick Castellanos, Joey Votto, Eugenio Suarez, Jesse Winker Reds. That insanely good offense that had so much pop and so much power in it. India was able to set the table and score runs for a team that would have been so good if they didn't all get hurt in August and September. But getting a guy that can get, he's going to work at bats. I believe he was top 10 in pitches per plate appearance this year. Then he was also I believe he was 16th in on-base percentage last year, despite, the 357. That's immediately second best, only to Bobby Witt, who hit 300. So, great ad. Is it great to have a DH who slugs 329 or 392? As I'm getting numbers mixed up there. Probably not. You probably want a little more slug, but when you look at the rest of Vinny's going to slug, Salvi's going to slug, Bobby Witt's going to slug. This isn't going to be what the roster looks like by opening day. That trade, right, they wanted to go out and add to their team. This doesn't mean they're done. In fact, the fact that they traded for someone makes me now think they're going out in free agency and getting someone 100%. I don't know if it's going to be a pitcher or whatnot. Cole Reagans was really good. Seth Lugo was really good. They locked up Michael Wacha again. Alec Marsh is still going to be there. And then Kyle Wright, who slots right back in there, is going to be healthy, hopefully this year. we've seen what he can do in the past when he is healthy. Maybe they go on at a 5-starter because this rotation is already really good 1 through 3. The 4 or 5 spots are kind of a toss-up right now, so it means at times Alec Marsh was really good and at times Alec Marsh really wasn't. So go out, add a 5th starter, or like go out and get a 6th quality starter, so then you actually have some contest and it actually means something and brings the most out of those guys in the bottom. If I had a guess to what was coming next, I'm surprised Hunter Renfroe. I must not have seen like his contract details, but I'm surprised he didn't get waived or non-tendered. Because he wasn't great last year. 229 batting average, only 15 homers. Not a good on base, not a really good slug. MJ Melendez is going to stick around because he's got so much talent and ability. Plus, his expected numbers were a lot better than what his actual numbers indicated. So there's growth there. I think they go out and get an outfield slugger. I don't know if it's going to be the switch hitter from Baltimore. Why did I just blank on his name? Oh my god. Or, oh my god. Holy meltdown. Free agent tracker. Hold up. Why did my brain just fry? Teoscar Hernandez or Anthony Santander. Holy cow, my brain just shut off. Sorry. Long day of wrestling practice today. Hence the Mountain Dew that I'm drinking. Alright. So, here looks like the official details to Blake Snell's contract. So Blake Snell is getting a $52 million signing bonus and $13 million a year in deferrals. So the deal balances out, so the contract value remains, but the bonus doesn't count against the CBT, so it's only they're only saving about $3 million to the luxury tax penalty, which I thought would have been a lot more. I guess they weren't able to like mess with it anymore, but I don't know. But back to my point, I'd love Anthony Santander in this lineup. Or Hernandez. Either work, but Santander would do wonders in this lineup for them. Because then it goes India, Witt, Vinny, Salvi, Boom at 5, Santander, switch hitter outfielder. Then you can have Michael Massey, Melendez, Garcia, Isabel playing center. There's a lot of things the Royals can do, and I really like what I've seen from the Royals so far. Now we're going to talk about the big guys. The Los Angeles Dodgers. Shohei, like, everyone already knows this team. This team was pretty good last year. They only won the World Series. So, when I'm looking at immediate red flags in this lineup, right? Andy Pages showed flashes. James Outman was really good last year, then was very disappointing this year. Is Gavin Lux really the guy? Is Gavin Lux really the guy you want to have play second every day? I don't think Mookie's going to stay at short. I think they'll go out and find someone to play short. So, second, short, and left field are the question marks for me right now. Actually, no. Put Edman at short. So then you have a center and left field question. And second. So they need to go out and get another good outfielder. And I'm not saying like go out and get go trade for Trout, right? That's not what I'm saying. Because this team is already so deep. If they were able to go out and let's say they went out and got Harrison Bader to play center field. Great defender. He's going to cover a lot of ground in center. So then now you have a really good fielding outfield with Mookie Betts also out there. Then go out and get let's keep Pages there. Do you go out and get a second baseman? Do you try and find a way to upgrade upon Gavin Lux? Or is Gavin Lux really your guy? Are you willing to die on that hill that he is your guy? Because I don't know if you are. I don't. Um, Miguel Rojas, Chris Taylor, Austin Barnes are going to be there for the long run. They've been there for Miguel Rojas has been there for a year now. Chris Taylor and Austin Barnes, it feels like they've been there forever. And it doesn't matter how good or bad they are, they're going to stay there. And then Ryan Ward, they just added. So he has no more options. He has to stick up. So maybe he gets DFA and they bring someone else in. Don't really know. Now when we're looking at this Dodgers rotation, because this is what everyone is talking about, right? Blake Snell was the main guy on the thumbnail. Blake Snell slots into the number one spot in that rotation. Now when I'm like trying to process how the whole rotation's going to look. We saw with the Angels, they try and run a six-man rotation because they're trying to keep Ohtani fresh, because you're playing every single day, you're pitching every fifth or sixth day, and you're going to be hitting 300 and hitting bombs. So they want to keep Ohtani fresh. That being said, the fact that Ohtani is now your projected 4 starter is kind of ridiculous. Like, that is insane. It goes Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Ohtani, Gonsolin, and May. Now, we don't know what Gonsolin or May are going to provide because they've been hurt for... Did May pitched a couple games last year, and Gonsolin... Or no. May pitched a couple games in 23, and so did Gonsolin, and they haven't pitched since. And I don't believe either were particularly good. So... You have your 2 coin flips. I still think this opens up. If they want to go get Max Fried, I wouldn't. No one thought they were going to go out and get Blake Snell. So if someone's listening to this and thinking that, well, there's no way they get Max Fried, you're wrong, because no one thought they were going to add Blake Snell. Everyone thought Max Fried's a possibility because he's a cheaper option. They went and got the big gun. And then even you're figuring that this rotation anyway might just be Snell, Moto, Glasnow, Ohtani, and then your 5th starter's Roki. Which we'll talk about Roki Sasaki in the posting process, which is a little bit of a nightmare in and of itself. This rotation is so deep, it doesn't even show Bobby Miller or Knack. I don't know if Emmett Sheehan is going to be back this year or not due to his injuries. It's just really interesting. Like, and I feel like I'm saying that just because I don't know what else to say. It's frustrating. Like, being a fan of like a smaller market team, right? Reds. I have a friend that's a Pirates fan, and I'm gonna read what he sent me as soon as it was. I'm like, well, I hate baseball now. It's like, now that this rotation's going to be Ohtani, Snell, Yoshinobu, Glasnow, and props Roki, just to like say blank us, right? And then you're just like, this is awful for what, like, the competitive balance of the league. Like, we're playing 162 game seasons just to see the Dodgers go to the World Series every year. And with how the roster's set up and how they're exploiting these deferrals, they have the game. Like, they have a stranglehold on the game. They know exactly what they're doing. They're finding ways around, like, they're spending all this money and then they're finding ways not to have it affect them. While you got smaller market teams like the Nationals, Kyle Finnegan was great. Kyle Finnegan is their all-star closer. They had to release him because they're not paying $8 million to a closer. They couldn't afford that in arbitration. Who I won't be surprised if Finnegan ends up a Dodger, too, just because why not make the bullpen better? Dang. Cam Thomas out a while. That's basketball, though. So, another thing that I want to talk about briefly is how the free agent pool already looks. So, Juan Soto, We kind of know what's going on already right now with Soto. They're He's mowing over his offers. It was Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, Mets, Blue Jays. I feel like there was another team that I'm forgetting. Maybe that was just it. But everybody is going to be in on Soto still. I'd say the Dodgers don't, like, the Dodgers pull out because they just gave up so much money to Snell, but they spent $1 million or $1 billion last year, sorry, in player salary. They're barely two they're barely like 2/10 there. They're not even a fifth there. You can give Soto the exact same contract that they gave Ohtani and they'd still have spent less money than last year. And they'll find a way to defer all that money too. And it's just going to be running out like an all-star team for the rest of eternity. That solves your left field problem. And then they'll probably bring back Teoscar just because why not? Willie Adames is apparently having a couple offers. There's rumors of him playing third base. So that kind of makes his market a little bit bigger. I kind of like him to the Mariners. I had him to the Giants originally, I believe. So I still like him going to the Giants. I think they could have a really interesting defensive alignment with Adames, Matt Chapman, and then that Fitzgerald kid that slugged it really well and like close end for the Giants season last year. Bregman, I'm going to be honest, I really haven't heard much about Bregman. Bregman, there's rumors of him going like smaller market teams, so not like these like big dogs. He's either Houston or he's going like to Detroit or Washington. There hasn't really been any talk about Bregman. And everyone thought like Corbin Burns was going to be the one to set the table, set the market, that everyone was going to be going in on him. Apparently Dodgers didn't care. They were just going to go out and get their Cy Young candidate lefty instead of adding another Cy Young candidate righty. Burns, it's just, I don't really... Is he going to get more than Snell? Because I feel like that Snell contract was aggressive, especially for someone that he's only had 2 healthy seasons, like 180 plus innings. Both those years he has won the Cy Young. So when he's healthy, he's a Cy Young candidate. Corbin Burns has won a Cy Young before. He's seeking an 8-year deal, apparently. I understand that like the crowd source results, right, says 6 years, $30 million average annual. That's gone up. The price has gone up. Yesterday's price is not today's price for Corbin Burns. If Yusei Kikuchi got 21 and Blake Snell got 34, Burns is at least probably getting somewhere close to 36, 37. If he gets 40 in like 8 years, 40, would I be mad? No. As long as the Reds didn't do that, because I could see that being a dumpster fire. But if a team like the Yankees, a team like the Giants that now just need another pitcher, another ace to go with their another like sinker cutter guy, and add with Webb. No, nothing, just sleeper. Now I'll talk about the another thing about the Blake Snell. It was funny. I just got home. I go to lie down on my bed. I open my phone. And I see a sleeper notification, right? The fantasy app. And if you have like their notifications turned on, which I have it turned on just so I can see like for my basketball league, like, hey, so-and-so had this many points. Do you want to lock them in? Kind of thing. I'm like, okay, sure. I would love it so I don't have to like pay that close attention to it. And so with that comes like notifications like so-and-so signed, so-and-so's hurt, so-and-so's like down on the field or whatnot, and it'll be like random clips that like some of the admins put out on their notifications. I get a notification saying Blake Snell to the Dodgers. And this was directly after I saw Blake Snell's Instagram post. I'm like, okay, well, they just bit on him being a troll because it's just a looking eyes thing, right? He's just trolling and Sleeper just bit. The stupid admin's probably getting flamed. I click on it. No one's flaming him. And at that point, it was after I have like my do not disturb thing on. So it was only anything prior wasn't popping up anymore. So I'm scrolling through like my back notifications, trying to find something. And then I just refresh my Instagram and boom, John Boy's posted. Boom, J9 innings is posted. Bartolo memes is posted. All of them. What's that Reds or that Dodgers account that does like the daily recaps and like a like brain rot thing or whatnot? It's like Jay Show or something. Anyway, they on their Instagram story, it was blank you Snell, right? Saying like you troll. 2 minutes later, the Instagram story was holy right? Just celebrating. When we're looking, I feel like the most interesting guys to watch is going to be, because of the age, Santana. Like, I feel like Santana can get a lot more than that. I don't really think in the years, but I think if he waits, he can probably get himself a 13, 4, like what it says for Jock Peterson. All right, 14 mil maybe. He'd be an interesting piece. Maybe he goes back to Minnesota. Maybe he goes back and becomes a Mariner again. What if he joins the Reds? The Reds are kind of still in limbo on what to do with that infield. They could use a guy who can play first. Just kind of shore some things up. The Ha-Seong Kim, he's another interesting one, especially coming off of surgery. Just, you don't really know what you're going to get offensively with him. Defensively, you know what you're going to get. Do you trust the arm? Because he just had to have surgery on that arm. Is he going to be the same defensively? Don't know. Probably won't be that good offensively in that first year. The fact that they're not expecting Jose Iglesias to get signed after what he did last year is ridiculous. No. And down the board, we get guys. Trevor Williams could be interesting. I understand he got hurt through most of the year and didn't really. I believe he only made like 8 starts or something. It was something really low. But he was really good when he was healthy for the Nationals. I think he could get a sneaky deal. It might be like the Montas deal like last year. Like maybe he gets 2 years and it's like $30 million or whatnot. Maybe he gets something like that. Josh Rojas should get a job somewhere. He's still really good. The catchers, like Carson Kelly, how much is Carson Kelly going to get? Because he was pretty good. Paul DeYoung is going to be an interesting guy. Because he's done short, third, and then he played a little bit of first. I'm trying to think. I don't think he played first for the Royals this year. But he's played first in the past. And he's an okay defensive player. I'm not going to say he's like Gold Glove, like defensive whiz. But he holds his own at multiple positions. Key ones at that in the infield. If a team gets Paul DeYoung, don't be like, why? We could have gone bigger. I think you're getting a sneaky good signing if you go get Paul DeYoung. That's my hot take for the offseason. You can come back to this video and flame me in a month's time. Harrison Bader, I feel like, is going to have plenty of guys lining up for that glove. And if he gives you anything offensively, you'll take it. Michael Conforto's another interesting one. So is Jesse Winker. These 3 guys, right, all former Mets at one point in time. Winker and Bader coming away from the Mets, and Conforto was there, what now, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? I don't know. But these, I kind of have them in the same tier. It's Bader for a different reason. It's just like all good, not great signings. Like, does Jesse Winker have a chance to give you 20 homers? Yeah, he's done it before. He's a Reds legend. If he stayed healthy, I think he would have been top 5 in MVP voting. Same thing with Nick. Michael Conforto's a good bat. When he's been very inconsistent in his career, but he's got a good bat. Bader has a great glove. Let's see. What else is down here? Let's just go infinite. Let's keep going and see what other names. Paul Goldschmidt. What do you do with a guy like Paul Goldschmidt? I mean, Cardinals aren't bringing him back. They already announced that Contreras is going to be the new first baseman, which I really like. They have 2 young catchers in their that got major league time this year. So I'll be interested to see, like, is it going to be Herrera or that other kid that gets the majority of the playing time? What team gets Paul Goldschmidt? Is it going to be whatever team? It's just like, oh, we need to go get Christian Walker. We need to go get Pete Alonso. And then it's insert that, like, the bummed out SpongeBob sound, like the whatnot or whatever. And they end up with Paul. Like, when was he the MVP? It was just a year ago? A year ago he was the MVP? And now it's like, well, no one wants him? I feel like it's really high risk, high reward. You're either going to sign Paul Goldschmidt. He's probably going to ask for like a 2-year deal. 3-year deal maybe to take him to his age 40 season. And if he's good, he's great. There you go. You got him 3 years on $14 million. That's not bad. If he implodes, then what do you do? Kind of same thing with Chapman. Same thing for Charlie Morton, really. Charlie Morton's going to be an interesting one. I don't think Ross Stripling gets signed, and that's smart. Saying that Mike Tauchman isn't going to get signed is kind of stupid. Because he was pretty decent leadoff hitter for the Cubs the past couple years. Bummer's already got signed back. Jacob Stallings got signed back. Max Kepler's another interesting one. I'd put him with the Winker Conforto. Probably Mark Canha, too. Matthew Boyd could be a sneaky good pickup. Jacob Junis, I'd kind of like back as to the Reds because as Reds fans, that rotation died. Lodolo, Green, Abbott, Ashcraft, Williamson. Who else? The entire starting rotation was hurt or they were all on the 60-day IL at one point at the same time. Green returned, rest of them didn't. I believe Ashcraft might be out for most of this year too. So Reds need pitching depth. So if you got a guy that can do a spot start like Junis did or be good out of the bullpen, great pickup. Jason Hayward's going to be a weird one. Donovan Solano should absolutely get a contract. And here's my reasoning for that. Donovan Solano, it's like wherever he goes, he hits. Like, I'm going to pull up his stats if it's not going to white screen on me. Like, look, and I understand not a lot of people care about average. 295, and you have to look in like the games played or whatnot, right? Wasn't very good in 55 games in Miami. Wasn't very good with New York. But he wasn't really getting that many chances, right? Then the Giants kind of unlocked him. 81, half the year with the Giants was really good. 2020, I believe he won he was in the Silver Slugger running. A really good contact bat. Came a little bit more down to earth the next year. Signed with the Reds, was hurt for most of the year. In 80 games, he was great. The year before in Minnesota, he was really good. And then the Padres brought him in, and it was, I want to say he was hitting dang near 800 through his first 10 games or something ridiculous. The guy was great for him. I don't know if he's going to get signed immediately, but he's going to be a fun pickup for somebody. I don't know what Verlander's going to do. Same thing with Kershaw. Same thing with Max Scherzer. Some team, I think there's still quality in JD Martinez's bat. I don't know if that's foolish of me to think, but I think there's something in that bat. Kyle Farmer's already gone. That was going to be your super utility guy if you got him. Going to be interesting to see what happens to Danny Jansen and Elias Diaz, two decent catchers. Cal Quantrill, what did he have? A mid-4s ERA in Coors? Some teams are going to be where's the ERA at? I just lost the ERA. Yeah, an ERA just inside of 5 in Coors. I mean, I'll take it. Historically, he was really good. Really, good year. Bad year. Hurt a lot of it. And then Coors. So, I don't know. I think Cal Quantrill, he's going to get payday somewhere. Don't really know where. Personally, I think Kutch needs to end it. End the career. End the career. Make sure I specify what I mean by that. Nick Ahmed, just because you can. What team's he missing? Sign to the Rockies. Sign to the Rockies. There we go. Tim Hill was really good for the Yankees. Yimi Garcia is going to get a contract. Estrada, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. He was pretty good, and then he kind of fell off a cliff. Austin Wynn, I'm pretty sure he hit 600 this year for the Reds. Hold up. Let's see. What did you hit this year? Oh, close. Yeah, he had when Luke Maile was hurt, he was doing the backup catching for the Reds. And he hit 3 doubles in his first game called up from AAA. And it's just who is this guy? Yohan Moncada is going to get a shot. Top prospect. Ahmed Rosario hits well for average. So someone's going to want him. Griffin Canning, someone's going to give him a job. I love that we brought back Brent Suter. Justin Wilson getting a contract to Boston kind of surprised me. He wasn't great in a Reds uniform. Craig Kimbrell is done. I don't think anyone touches him with a 90-foot pole unless it's someone like the Marlins or a bad team that's trying to grab onto a fading player, get him, buy him cheap, trade him at the deadline for something. Scott Barlow wasn't bad. Let's see, who else is up here? Luis Guillorme. I don't even know where you'd go. Austin Slater. The fact that Austin Slater said that he was the White Sox's top target is objectively the funniest thing I think I've heard all day. Minor league deal for Okert. Minor league deal for a couple former Cardinals. Is there anyone else that's down here that's interesting? Daniel Carlson, I'll feel like is going to get picked up. Brian De La Cruz is definitely going to get picked up. The bat has too much potential not to. Tim's done. Maldonado's done. Jose Abreu's done. Drury is unfortunately probably done. Reds legend. Another Reds legend. And Anthony DeScalfani. He might get an offer. He didn't pitch this year due to Tommy John. Daniel Covey got a contract. Major league contract to that. Worth nothing. Max Stassi. I mean, that's not a bad backup catcher. Actually, no. That's like their third catcher. Because they got Patrick Bailey and then that other kid. Daniel Bard's done. Lou Trevino's probably done. James Karinchak really fell off. Noah Syndergaard, is he not retired? Go away. Go away, Syndergaard. Alright, and then if we want to take a look at all like these moves or whatnot, guys that got non-tendered. Sam Haggerty's going to be an interesting one just because he plays everywhere and it's a decent enough bat. Let's see, who else? Austin Hayes is going to get a couple offers somewhere. I won't be surprised if John Birdie gets it. Alex Young, Reds legend. Justin Topa got a contract. Let's see. Is there anyone like noteworthy? I'm looking for noteworthy non-tender. Brendan Rodgers just never really worked out for Colorado, unfortunately. Ian Jabot, if he stays healthy, could be interesting. I don't know. Gavin Sheets, I feel like, is going to get a job just because he has so much power. Patrick Wisdom is a fun one. Patrick Wisdom, low risk, medium reward, I'll say. Maybe he hits you 20 homers on 220 clip. Teams will take that. Teams will take that. Griffin Canning probably's done. Just looking at other names. And then, obviously, the two big contracts so far. Blake Snell and Yusei Kikuchi. Jose Barrero is going to the Cardinals. Any sad Reds fans remember when we were told that, oh, he doesn't even get a photo, that this kid was going to be the future of the team? Holy strikeout. Striking out a career 36% of the time is objectively egregious and also hilarious. You had a WRC plus a 6. Jesus. You weren't even good defensively either. He's got so much potential. I feel like Jose Barrero's probably going to get called up when the Cardinals officially decide to just launch nukes. But we'll have to see from there. So, this was talking a little bit more about free agency. Blake Snell is right there, but he is now in LA. I'm still here. Great Ohio, enjoying great Ohio weather. This is going to be the end of this episode. We are 44 minutes in. Almost a 45-minute talk session. So, glad you could join us today. And I'll try to upload a little more consistently. Unfortunately, with practice, that goes long. Mondays, I can't really do much. And then weekends are going to be tournaments, so don't really know how that's going to work out. We might just do some middle of the week recordings like we're doing right now because I don't have school. Practice went from 9 to noon, so that was pretty good. I am Andrew Carr of Carr Sports,